Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Super Deluxe Gamescast. It's Thursday, May the 12th. If I sound a little unenthusiastic and if I look a little unenthusiastic for our live viewers, I am rocking an almost 101 degree fever. I've been home for a couple days, but you know what? The show must go on. And the only, I've got a fever and the only prescription is podcasting with my family. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm pretty sure I can make the entire podcast. I'm pretty sure I can push through.
You're fine. You just made a
honestly
cheesy joke. You're good.
Yeah,
if
you start feeling awful, I want you to just like.
You want me to just tump over in my chair?
Yeah, exactly, and stay there.
To die live on stream.
Yeah, I can stay like this the entire podcast.
Be a fucking legend.
It reminds me of when Derek got really sick and he was hosting
during the Game Awards.
Oh,
yes. Before I was on it. That's when Reb was on it and she got really drunk while watching it because it was so bad.
That was right up there. That is right up there with Reb slowly rolling out of the frame and falling over while singing Bahamut Lagoon as one of the great SDGC
None of us
moments.
have ever peaked like Reb has.
Reb has had the highest the highest highs on this podcast. We miss Reb. But speaking of people we miss, we were missing Cam real bad. And so Cam, he was supposed to be on last week, but Cam was like, you know what? Pencil me in for next week. Let's do it. This is Cam Hawkins' like fifth or sixth time. I'm losing track. Like, Cam, how many times have you been on now?
At least twice. At least.
Oh Jesus, it's more than that.
Maybe maybe fourth or
Four
fifth.
seems right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cam, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. How's everyone else doing?
I'm doing good. Looking at you making big moves in the industry over the past few months, man. You're crushing it. You're crushing it. Don't be modest.
I am terrible at taking compliments, so I'm just like,
Me too.
I get it.
All I'm gonna say is thank you. I appreciate it. It's a step forward. You know, that's all I can say.
I am actually really good at taking compliments. So if anybody wants to pay me some, you are more than welcome to do so.
I like what seems to be your new frames. You got new glasses since the last time I saw you. Maybe?
So these actually keep the light of the screen because I've been having a super amount of trouble sleeping for a long time now, and these have really helped. And since this podcast is right before I usually fall asleep, they make all the difference in the world. I wear these when I play games, when I watch movies. Like if there's a screen in front of me, these are on my face. So
I also got prescribed those type of glasses, but then like somehow Astra immediately got to them and chewed them up. So I'm like, well, and so I need to get new ones.
Plus, I think they look pretty good. Like I think it's actually a good look.
We don't need to compliment you because you just compliment yourself 24/7.
I mean, look at me. Why wouldn't I?
Oh God.
Look, I'm a handsome man. I'm a handsome man. What can I say?
Must be nice.
Well, I'll tell you what is nice is hanging out with everybody here after a really shitty week. I've had a rough week, and you all are already making it better. So I deeply appreciate that. Now, this is a video games podcast, and I would love to talk about how well Cam is doing and how good looking I am for the next hour and a half. But business must intrude, and we do have some shit to talk about tonight. We're going to kick it off, as always, with what we've been playing for the past week. And then we're going to talk about EA and FIFA getting divorced. I think that's going to be our first topic, Derek. Is that what you want to do? We're going to talk about our predictions for the second half of the year. Essentially, beginning around, I know E3's dead, but like there's all the E3 presentation time to the end of the year. What we hope to see, what we think we'll see, and what we don't think we'll see. And we're also going to make fun of Jim Ryan a little bit because that's always good cannon fodder. So let us start with our guest Cam. The past 5 days, what have you been playing? Past week.
Well, I reviewed Ayuden Chronicle Rising for
So Derek was our reviewer for that.
Yeah, I really like that game. It somehow made menial like repetitive side quests feel rewarding.
Yeah,
Because,
it
like,
helps
I
that
did-
it was like there wasn't a lot of fat, and you could get a lot done very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a 15 hour doing all the side quests leading up to the end of the game. I beat the game in 15 hours.
That sounds
Which
about
is
right.
which is like longer than the thing is, like, for a game that is a stretch goal game that's supposed to set up as like kind of like a prologue to the full game, I didn't expect it to be that long. But also, like, for the amount of stuff that I did in 15 hours, I felt like again, like, it felt like it didn't really waste my time that much, even though I was doing so many again, like, repetitive side quests, because, like, you're building this town from basically the ground up, and by the time you get to the end of the game, it just looks like a completely different place, and you did it all. And that's like what I thought was really rewarding, even though, like, in the combat was surprisingly fun, even though like, at first it feels a little bit one note.
You need those extra characters and unlocking those extra moves to really fill it out.
Yeah, once you unlock the extra moves and the link attacks and that, like, it feels like a completely different game, combat wise. It's really fun. But yeah, so I reviewed that. I think I gave it like a 7. I think a 7, it was a good score for that. And outside of that, I've also been playing through Xenoblade 2 Torna Country, which is the prologue to Xenoblade 2, where you play as Lorna and Jin.
And Jin, yeah. Yeah, what do you think of that? Because I've played Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2 and all of the DLC connected to the new versions of those games. What did you think of that?
So I recently replayed through 2, and I also finally played through the first game a while, like, near the end of last year. And I really liked the first game until you got to, like, the last, like, 4 bosses that were, like, back to back to back.
Oh my god,
Because,
yes.
like, I could beat, like, everyone up to the final boss, and then, like, I just couldn't. It was just
I had to lower the difficulty for Zanza.
I spent like 15 hours just grinding to beat that final boss. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. So, like, I really liked that game until, like, the last 15 hours, because I had to grind to beat that final boss. I really love Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I think it has a lot of pacing issues, but I think once you get to the last, like, 3 or 4 chapters of that game, it is incredible, and I think it ends very beautifully. So I was really excited to finally hop into Torna Country. I actually have, like, one of those the rare physical copies, where because it kind of is its own game. It is, like, it feels,
it is.
like it's not as long as Xenoblade, because Xenoblade's like 70 to 100 hours, but it feels like its own game, where there's side quests and, like, it's structured the same way. And I really like just kind of getting these kind of relationships that, like, they were very vague about in Xenoblade 2, probably for the purpose of, like, hey, we're doing this DLC where you're actually going to see these characters. Like, Adam is, like, hooded throughout the entire story of Xenoblade 2, and it's just like, that doesn't seem necessary. And it is interesting because, like, Adam is, like, his personality is very different from what they made it seem like in Xenoblade 2. And getting to know more about Hayes, because, like, Hayes does not stick around the Xenoblade 2 story for very long. And yeah, just kind of, like, it makes you appreciate the second game more, especially, like, Jin, like, or, like, I hope Jin, because Jin was this, like, antagonist. I wouldn't say villain, but he was, like, an antagonist throughout 2. And then, like, near the end of the game, like, you find out, like, like, more of his truths and why he made the decision that he did.
Wasn't a villain in the sense that Malos was.
Yeah, exactly. So it's cool getting more of his perspective, because I thought that, like, he was he was definitely, like, the most interesting character in Xenoblade 2. Yeah, I really enjoy it. I'm at a point right now where it's like, oh, you basically have to do 15 side quests before I can continue the story, and I'm like, why are you making me do this? Like, but from what I've played so far, I really enjoy it, and I am super stoked for Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
I can't remember the name of Jin's driver, but I thought she was a much more interesting character than
Rex.
Rex. Yeah, like
Rex sucks.
Rex
Yeah.
is so bad. His design sucks. His character sucks.
Rex is bad Sora.
He's
Literally,
got,
that's what Rex
yes,
is.
no, that's exactly what it is. He's got those big metal pantaloons.
Yeah,
and that
no,
big,
no.
goofy ass helmet flopping around behind him the entire game. Like, it's just, he's a terrible character design. He's a bad character, and I found myself wishing that I can't remember her name, but I found myself. Lorna, that's right. I found myself wishing that Lorna was the protagonist of the actual Xenoblade Chronicles 2 game. She was so much better to deal with than Rex.
Yeah, and like that's like a whole thing to do with like the voice acting choices that I don't know what Nintendo's doing with their voice acting with Xenoblade, but yeah, that was a big part of it. And like I think that Rex definitely has his moments, like some good moments in the game, but like in general, yeah, he's just like a poorly characterized Sora. That's
yeah.
what he is.
With a really Cockney British accent.
Yeah,
like that British accent is thick. He's from the yeah Rex's accent gets me every single time. Dude, that's awesome though. I'm glad you were enjoying it. I'll go real quick because I'm gonna be quick. I have been all this talk about Eiyuden Chronicle Rising. I'm not going to jump into it just yet because Derek's review made me really want to go back and replay Suikoden 2. So that's what I'm doing. So I was like, oh fuck, I need some Suikoden 2 in my life again. So I've been replaying Suikoden 2 on my Vita. It means life, and I like again, like this isn't even the second, third, or fourth time I've replayed Suikoden 2, but it's just. Hearing Derek talk about Eiyuden Chronicle and like knowing who's behind that team, I was like, "Fuck! I need to play Suikoden 2 now." So that's what I've been doing. Especially, and you know, being sick, I've just literally been sitting in bed almost the entire week just playing Suikoden 2. That's what I'm doing right now. Throwing in a little Final Fantasy 14 for good measure. Derek, what about you, buddy?
Well, haven't been playing too much. As mentioned, for the past week or so, I've been playing Eiyuden Chronicle Rising. Cam hit most of it on the head, right? Like it's definitely a lower budget game. It's definitely a simpler game in a lot of ways. I don't want to say it feels cheap, but like you can tell it's a $15 game, but like it punches above its weight class. I had fun with the combat.
Yeah, it did.
I had fun, checking boxes. Completing side quests, upgrading the merchants, getting my upgraded
Your
weapons and armor. I had
cards.
fun making up the worst possible names for my weapons.
I didn't name my weapons.
Oh yeah, I was like, let's see what kind of terrible weeaboo garbage I can name these things.
You named one of your weapons Beefstick, didn't you?
I wish that was an option. I would have named Garu's Greatsword that, but I digress. But it's a good time, and yeah, I was thinking 10 to 12-ish for beating the game without really sweating doing all of the side quests. And yeah, 15-ish to do all the side quests, and 100% it feels about right. But it is a good time. I enjoyed it. It's not going to blow up my best of the year list, but
But that wasn't the point of the game anyway, right?
It's made me excited for the 100 Heroes, which I think was the point. Right, was to get people on board with the kind of the charm and the writing style and the aesthetic of this world.
Well, Derek, you owe it so Derek has never played Suikoden 2, and Derek, you owe it yourself to try it before Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes comes out.
It's on the to-do list. I have so many JRPGs on the to-do list, and unfortunately, that's a terrible genre to have a to-do list.
This is one of those games that should be near the top of your list, priority wise. Cam, you were going to say something. Go ahead, bud.
Yeah, that's the thing I actually like had an issue with Eiyuden Chronicle is just like I didn't feel like it was setting up 100 Heroes for me.
Yeah, it's not setting up shit.
It's like we know that like they've been openly promoting like, hey, New Neva is gonna have a role in some way in 100 Heroes, like whether there's gonna be a big plot part in that town or whatever it may be. But I'm just like, I really like this cast of characters like CJ, Guru especially is a really great character for the little time that we had with them.
Yeah.
And Isha, and like we don't like I wish that they kind of like were going to be the main characters in this next game.
Yeah, instead of potentially part of a very large ensemble cast.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, what is their? Yeah, it's like it just didn't teach me anything about like what the role is going to be in 100 Heroes. Like what? Like there was very little. There was like world lore things that were dropped, but I like had no reference to
It's
them.
not a big plot heavy game either, really. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's not what it's there for. But the character writing is fun, and I'm like, if this is kind of the tone that they're gonna bring to the 100 Heroes, then I'm in. I love the art style. Every time a weird character that didn't fit in showed up, like a samurai or a magical girl, I was like, well, they're gonna be another one of the 100 Heroes. I can tell.
So I'll go ahead and say this: if this game, if 100 Heroes is hues as close to Suikoden 2 as I imagine it will, given it's the exact same dev team, then it's going to be from a story perspective and content perspective, it's going to be a lot darker.
I'm
than
sure.
Eiyuden Chronicle Rising.
Well, and
Suikoden
Rising
2 was a violent fucking game.
Rising was a Kickstarter game. Not a Kickstarter game, a Kickstarter stretch goal for a different game. Like, it's gonna be smaller, and that's fine. It gave me a kangaroo mercenary with a great sword and eye patch, who almost certainly would be voiced by Steve Bloom if there was voice acting. So, you know, that's great. How many other games have given me that this year?
That's true, Derek. And you know what? This is the only game that's likely to give you that at all this year. So,
to my knowledge, the year is young.
Speaking of the year is young, I don't really have a segue for that because I'm tired and sick. But Britt, what have you been playing this week? Look, I'm tired. I don't feel good. Just cut me a break. Okay?
Like when you were saying that, I was like, please don't transition to me because I don't understand that.
I don't understand it either. It doesn't make any sense. Just go with it.
I haven't been playing too much lately. I'm just kind of waiting for new games to come out. I was like, I think I'm going to be playing Witcher 3 next because I was waiting for that, you know, PS5 update, but that is clearly not happening. So I'll probably be playing that next, but I've just been playing Fortnite in the meantime.
Britt is going to play Witcher 3 again. I would never have guessed this.
No. I haven't played it yet.
But you're like so thirsty for Geralt.
Yes.
I literally
love the matter of factness there.
I literally assumed you had played it because of that, Britt.
No.
Interesting. I did not know this. Okay, wow. Huh. So you're just thirsty for Geralt without even having played the game.
Mm-hmm.
There's a show.
You know,
Henry Cavill plays him.
That's true. There is a show. There's also at you know, back when PAX was a thing.
I bet they had to peel that leather off him at the end of each shoot.
Britt, there's a very famous cosplayer who walks around like at PAX and stuff. This super like Eastern European super buff cut guy who dresses as Geralt.
Mall cosplay. I'm aware.
Is it okay? Well, never mind. I don't. I can't. I don't know what I was thinking. Of course, Britt already knows about that. Britt's like, yeah, I know.
But yeah, I've just been playing Fortnite and just sinking myself into that because I don't really have the energy to play anything else. So
depression.
That's what I've been doing. Yeah.
There's a lot of that going around, but you're doing a great job, Britt. We're all doing a great job, I think, given the circumstances of everything happening. Derek, it's okay, buddy. Justin, what are you playing this week?
So I finished up Trek to Yomi. I mentioned that I was starting that last week. I'm gonna be honest. It's been a while since I've disliked the game as much as that one.
Yeah, no, that's I've been hearing that. Yeah, I've been hearing that quite a bit.
Like what they accomplished visually is fantastic. The game's combat barely functions. It feels awful. It's not responsive. It feels like it animates poorly. It doesn't feel good. It's not fun to play at all. The story's also basically nothing. Like, they tried to, like, you know, they talked up how it was, you know, an homage to Kurosawa, but there's, like, zero character development, and, like, the plot's paper thin and really, like...
Kurosawa deserves better.
Yeah, like, it's just... They accomplished everything they set out to do visually and nothing else. Which was a bummer because like I like that studio. I thought the idea behind it was cool. I thought all the trailers and stuff looked cool. I pre-ordered it. I'm not just playing it off of Game Pass. Like I bought that game. I really didn't enjoy it.
A friend of mine who played it said there is zero impact behind combat. There's no weight. There's no feedback.
There's none. Like it's a crapshoot if your parries work or not. The combos make no sense. Sometimes it seems like it drops your inputs. Sometimes it seems like it doubles up your inputs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great.
Although
I have played something that is great, and I jumped back into Returnal.
Ooh, that got an update.
Into the year
didn't it?
2021, some would say.
Yeah, so I finished Returnal back when it had come out, and I really liked the game, but because of like the issues with not being able to suspend stop in the middle of a run,
I do remember that, yeah,
and stuff like that, it was hard for me to recommend. However, they've patched it up. They fixed that issue several months ago, but they also added like an endless mode that it's called the Tower of Sisyphus, and I thought it was just going to be like typical kind of endless mode thing, but it's actually like substantial new story content. Like there's new weapons, there's new enemies, there's new bosses, like, and it elaborates on some of the more like vague story things and stuff. It's actually like a pretty substantial update to the game, and it was free, which is really, really cool. I think they kind of undersold that it was like an actual expansion to the game, because they also added co-op, which I did also dabble in the other night, which was really cool. But yeah, the Tower of Sisyphus is really, really cool. So if you checked out Returnal and haven't played that, I really highly recommend it, because I think it's kind of a more condensed, faster paced roguelike experience that's also, it adds a lot to the story and atmosphere in some really cool ways. And if you haven't checked out Returnal, that game is in a much, much better place than it was before. They've really patched it up. They've added some good features, added new content, and it's one of those games that I think at the time I really enjoyed playing it, but I think kind of the more it's sank in since then, the more I think I appreciate it. I just really dig the like dark sci-fi vibe of that game, mixed with like the kind of wild arcade style gameplay that Housemarque is known for. It's just a really, really great game. I really hope people check it out.
I just want to point out to people listening. So I'm sure most everybody here on the podcast knows who Sisyphus was, but just in case you don't, when Justin says the Tower of Sisyphus, Sisyphus was a figure in Greek mythology who was in Hades, and he was condemned to roll a boulder uphill, and right when it gets to the top, it crumbles apart, and he's got to start all the way at the bottom again. And I feel like my fucking life is the Tower of Sisyphus right now. Like, I just want to point out that everything just is so much right now. So when Justin said the Tower of Sisyphus, I just like had this really deep internal sigh. And I was like, that hits hard. That hits in a way that I know was not intended by anyone, and it sucks.
Cases are going down. It's almost the end. Oh,
except now they're saying that 100 million people are going to get infected this year potentially. Woo! Tower of Sisyphus. Justin, you got anything else, bud?
No, but yeah, I really love Returnal. I like some of the new stuff that they've added, and I think that update kind of, I think co-op was the big thing people focused on with that update, and I think they kind of missed that the game actually got a pretty substantial addition to it. So I hope people go check it out.
So now that we got what we've been playing out of the way, before we launch into our first topic, we need to just briefly mention Jim Ryan.
This fucking Jim Ryan email.
So Derek, do you have the email handy in front of you?
I don't. No.
The text, the full text of the email has not been released publicly.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got the email right here, or at least the part that's relevant, right?
I just read it. Fuck this.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's not right.
Yeah, that's like the only reaction you can have to this.
So he said in the email seen by Bloomberg, this I'm quoting the Bloomberg article here, PlayStation President Jim Ryan didn't take a stance on abortion rights, instead writing that the company and its community are multifaceted and diverse, holding many different points of view. He wrote that we owe it to each other and to PlayStation's millions of users to respect differences of opinion among everyone in our internal and external communities. Respect does not equal agreement, but it is fundamental to who we are as a company and as a valued global brand. Now, in the next paragraph, he shares. Now again, he just said that we are not going to take sides on basic
on an
human
issue
rights.
70% of Americans agree with.
On basic human rights being stripped away from people, right? The very next paragraph, I would like to share something lighthearted to help inspire everyone to be mindful of having balance that can help ease the stress of uncertain world events. Saying it was recently his 2 cats' first birthday, and elaborating over the next few paragraphs about his cat's birthday cakes, their noises, and his desire to one day get a dog. He also said that dogs are great because they know their place, which is just an objectively weird thing.
Yeah, that's kind of fucking dark,
discussion.
bro.
No.
They can also be trained to bite people. That's another thing he said in there.
Britt, he did. He said literally after talking about women's reproductive rights and trans men's reproductive rights, he literally went on to say, dogs are great because they know their place. Like, so here's the thing about this, right?
As a notable dog respecter, that's not what I like about dogs, but
it costs,
please tell on yourself.
You know how at the end of every podcast we say kindness costs nothing. We say kindness costs nothing at the end of every podcast. You know what else is completely free? Keeping
Shutting
your
the
mouth
fuck
shut
up
and not saying anything. Like Jim, you are the fucking head of PlayStation Studios. We don't need you to make a grand statement about this, man. Like, we got it. Other people are handling. I don't need you. If you're gonna stick your foot in your mouth like this, you either. Jesus Christ!
You remember how
this again,
only a few episodes ago we had a talk about like statements of support for activism from companies, and we said that it can be kind of annoying to see these companies make bland statements of support for Ukraine or whatever. If you're not going to put up and like do something about it, then like it doesn't fucking matter because you're a corporation and you don't have morals. Like, that's not how it works. But like the inverse is true, that like, guess what, man? Not weighing in would have cost PlayStation nothing, would have cost you nothing.
Yeah.
And like,
and also keep in mind, Bungie, who is now owned by PlayStation, put out a pretty strong statement.
That's true.
Bungie fucking crushed it. Yeah.
And that was received really well, which also makes this also.
And that was this is several days worth in between. God, that context really makes this even more dumb, I gotta say.
Yeah, no, it's like literally like a studio owned by PlayStation. Well, I think technically the deal hasn't gone through yet, but a studio that is going to be joining PlayStation put out a strong statement in support of abortion and reproductive rights that was received well by the community, and then he sends out this email.
So here's what I noticed about this, right? Had Jim Ryan come out and said, had he done the Bungie thing, essentially, right? Had he come out and stood in favor of not just women's rights, human rights. We're talking about human rights here, right? Had he not just come out in favor of that, he would have had the trolls on Twitter being like, "Oh, I can't believe Jim's making PlayStation political." Oh, but you'll notice
political.
You'll notice that with this statement, so I looked. I decided to have a look-see, and those exact same people who would normally be saying that are like, "Jim, thank you for respecting everyone's opinion. Great job." Blah blah blah. Like it's such a fucking farce. It's so farcical. These fucking people. I saw that, and because I saw Jim Ryan trending on Twitter, and I was like, well, this can't be good.
Time?
Like
he has absolutely no tact when dealing with issues, even in the game industry. And so seeing him wade into this and reading the room even worse than he usually does.
He's what would happen.
He's what
would happen if Mark Zuckerberg owned PlayStation.
It's
Just
really
a
difficult
soulless
to step
automaton.
on your own ball sack, but he did figure out how to.
Oh shit.
I mean, like I just love Brittany's reaction
And then
to,
sent it out in a company-wide email.
Yeah.
well, and apparently
attached
like,
.mp4.
So in some good news, PlayStation employees ain't fucking amused. Apparently, like they're not happy, and that doesn't surprise me
because X% of them are people with ovaries. So
yeah, and I just love Brittany's reaction when she heard the whole dogs know their place thing right after talking about reproductive rights. Like, jeez, dude, like,
it sounds very like women should just take what they get. You know, if you get pregnant, just that's it. You better listen and obey.
I challenge these men to explain what an ectopic pregnancy is.
You feel like someone reviewed that email like that wasn't Jim and thought that's good.
Yeah,
no,
there's almost no way he had somebody look at that email before sending it out.
Nobody,
because even some assistant would just be like, buddy, yeah, you can't put this out.
Why don't you think on this overnight and then maybe hit send tomorrow? Like,
so I'm actually looking at some of our friends' reactions to Jim Ryden's statement on Twitter. These are really good. Imran, our friend Imran Khan says Jim Ryan took a firmer stance on dogs than overturning Roe. Jason Schreier, Fanbite. Everybody hates PlayStation boss Jim Ryan's memo on abortion rights. Jeff Grubb, fucked up that Jim Ryan had assumed I haven't trained my children to bite burglars. Jesus. Ethan Gack from Kotaku. Jim Ryan keeping up PlayStation's history of trying to one-up big Microsoft announcements. Xbox, Starfield delayed.
Right. You've officially read enough tweets, I believe.
Hold on,
John.
one more.
John,
PlayStation. Have you tried thinking about cats instead of the erasure of reproductive rights? Jesus Christ. He's got a point. Like, Xbox's announcement today was they're delaying Starfield, and this is what Jim Ryan wanted to say.
Are we talking about that, by the way, the Starfield delay?
I think so. Yeah. That'll
we'll
play into kind of our shape of the second half of the year.
Right. Exactly. All right. So now that
Jim Ryan's statement dumb. Let's move on to some news.
Oh my God.
Agreed.
All right. What do you want to? All right, Derek. Do you want to kick us off with?
Let's do EA and FIFA because I think that's a shorter topic for us.
Yeah, because I fucking hate soccer,
and then
I
that
don't play
leaves
EA
us
games,
an indefinite amount. Well, see, that's what's funny.
I've done some research on this one.
It's so
for this
easy
discussion,
for people who do not engage with FIFA, who do not engage with sports, who do not engage with soccer, to write off how big of a deal FIFA is. But like,
no, I know it's a huge deal.
Yeah, FIFA is fucking like globally. That is a huge annual seller. Like, there are people who get video game consoles basically just to play FIFA and maybe one or two other things.
I mean, dude, soccer is the most popular sport in the world, so that doesn't shock me at all.
So, but the question becomes, I think everybody has two questions. One, and I think this is the more obvious one, is why are EA and FIFA breaking up? Why are we going to have EA Sports FC instead of FIFA 24 or whatever? And then B, how badly does this impact, EA's annual soccer game franchise?
Probably really negatively, right? Like,
that's actually something I have been doing some research on from people that are much more knowledgeable than me. So, when we get to that, I can go over some of the things I've seen.
Cam, you look like you want to say something. Yeah.
I think the main thing is just probably FIFA wanted a certain amount of money that EA didn't want to pay.
Yeah, that sounds about right. No,
I mean,
we don't.
Normally, at the end of the day, the issue is money. So
it was a multi-billion-dollar licensing fee.
Yeah,
that people wanted.
So it's either that, or they had some sort of like dispute that they decided that they're going to go their separate ways. I couldn't see it be anything else than one of those two things. But like, but regarding the like how big it's gonna affect, like, I don't know. I feel like for me, like, even for the games that, if you're not even like a big gamer, right? Even when I was like a kid and I was passionate about like just like Pokemon, like I knew that Game Freak made Pokemon. I knew who made that game, even though like you know it you know I at the time like I didn't have that many games to play, and like I obviously love games, so like I think that the people that like play FIFA and like that is their thing, they're gonna know that whatever the next EA Sports soccer game is, like, oh, this is what FIFA is, but like they don't have the name anymore. I could be wrong, but
so I am woefully underlearned on this topic. I knew that there was a big deal between EA and FIFA that had gone down. But I've been like buried in the flu for the better part of the week. So is EA losing the FIFA license completely?
EA is basically losing the name.
Choosing
FIFA.
not to renew their.
Okay. Gotcha.
So basically, there's been some talk of this. Basically, because they make the licensing deal for a few years at a time, and essentially FIFA's like, we want a few $100 million every single year for this license. And so I went and I looked in it because I don't follow sports, I don't follow this, but I knew this was kind of a big deal, so I've looked into it a bit. And so the FIFA license is literally just the FIFA name.
Yeah,
they're still going to have access to like various football clubs across the world, their players. It's
which is the big thing. Like they still have all of their independent licenses with the clubs for uniforms, players. All of that is staying.
Yeah, I don't think it's all of them, but they're going to still have access to many of. I do swear I could remember reading that there's
some that have deals with Konami, but that would impact them even if they kept the FIFA thing. So like the FIFA license has nothing to do with players and teams or anything. And it seems like actually among the people that, you know, play these games, a lot of people know that. They're just like, well, as long as we can still play as the same teams, people aren't gonna ditch it. And also probably what's going to happen is people are just going to call it FIFA anyway, even though it's technically not.
See, that's I think my question is I don't know how heavily this impacts EA's annual football game, unless there becomes like a competing FIFA, which would be very funny, but I don't think it's actually that likely.
Tournament for that, do they not?
Did you see the FIFA response to them not
no, because FIFA doesn't have rights. So
okay. Well, the FIFA response is hilarious. It was like, only the game that has the FIFA name will be good. Like, it's clearly that they don't know how games are made and how long it takes to make games or anything. And they just ended it with the game with the FIFA name will be, and then in all caps, the best. And that was their response. So it's going to be years before anybody picks it up. And also, if EA wasn't willing to spend that much money, no one else is.
No.
That's kind of a good question. Is like, yeah, who's going to have EA money? I don't know.
Microsoft?
They have teams that are ready to make sports games and move over to only making sports games.
I mean, 2K made a soccer game that may be 2K, but that's it.
So 2K is like the only one that it seems remotely possible, but that'll still take them years to get going. And at that point, EA can still get their, you know, make a name for their own game.
So as it stands right now, and anything could change, but as it stands right now, this means we're not getting any more FIFA games for the foreseeable future.
This year, there is going to be a FIFA game.
But after that?
Starting next year.
After that, it will be called EA Sports FC.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. All right. I could absolutely see now. I granted, there's only I think a handful of studios that with the cash on hand to pick those rights up. I could see Microsoft doing it. I could see Microsoft. Maybe fucking you start talking about companies like Take-Two or Rockstar, or like I can't think of many that would be willing to. And Rockstar doesn't make games like FIFA, so yeah,
they made a table tennis game a few years ago.
Did they really?
That's forever ago.
I did not know that. Holy shit!
Yeah, table tennis. Yeah, 360.
Yeah.
So
Rockstar table tennis, man.
What do you? Yeah. So I guess I'll wrap it up with this. What do you guys think is going to happen with the FIFA license over the next couple of years? Because that's a pretty expensive.
I do eventually. I think maybe eventually expect somebody to pick that license back up. Maybe. I mean, I'd figure it has to be one of the bigger. It's got to be an Embracer or a Take-Two or somebody with that kind of money if they want to step in. But they're gonna have to spend that kind of money just to compete for a slice of the pie that EA already basically owns. And I think a lot of people, I mean, Cam, like you said, like people know EA is the sports company.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, the thing is, until there is a competing FIFA game that's officially called FIFA, people are probably still going to just keep calling EA Sports FC FIFA.
Yeah.
Like Pilnock said.
Making these sports games is really difficult. Like, EA has tried a couple times in the past few years to make a competing basketball game to go up against NBA 2K, and they've gotten canceled like weeks before release because they were in such bad shape. And that's from an EA. So like it's gonna be tough for somebody.
It's gotta be bad.
I can see, like, honestly, we joke about which studio Microsoft is buying next, whatnot, but they're the ones with the financial means to actually pick up a license as expensive as FIFA. So
but what studio would make it?
And if you did, are you going to spend $300 million on a license to try to compete against EA's? But like it'd be easier to do the Konami route and make something cheaper, right?
Yeah.
Where like it doesn't matter if you're not taking first because you're still potentially making your money back. I don't know. Like, I don't see it as an impossibility that someone eventually picks up that FIFA license, but it's gotta be worth it. And I think the longer, I don't know. I just don't see a good winning scenario for picking up that license.
So Glenn in chat, friend of ours, so he actually worked on FIFA for 5 years, and it cost EA $150 million annually for that license.
Yeah, and FIFA wanted, as has been reported repeatedly, wanted $300 million. Yeah, which is just like that's too much money.
$150 million a year for a license. Jesus, fuck.
I think if you gave me $150 right now, it would be like life altering.
I know. Yeah, Bill Knock in chat. Jesus, damn it!
Oh my god!
No, Bill Knock. Why would you bring that evil in here?
No, that's good. Make him waste his money on the FIFA license.
I mean, I'm giving her a hard time, but she's also right.
Anyway.
But so I feel like we've probably beaten the FIFA EA drum as much as we can here. The real the real meat and potatoes left here is talk. What's that?
Nothing. Just acknowledging Busted in chat. That's FIFA's also known for a lot of human rights violations, so Elon's a good fit.
Wow! Holy shit, Justin!
I'm not kidding. There's a huge difference between like some of the sports controversies we have, like Jesus. I've seen, and then the stuff that with FIFA involves like.
I think I remember John Oliver doing a big segment on FIFA, and it was like, oh shit, this is bad.
Look at this is just for us.
It's like on a huge level.
It's like it makes the WWE look like Saturday morning cartoon villains. Like
Derek, this is just for us. Look at what Brittany put in the Discord.
I can't.
You can't right now. It's Texas Pete,
look at
man.
Not only it's Texas Pete. Southwestern sausage and cheese dip.
Okay, that's what it is. I thought it was like, I can't believe it's not butter with Texas Pete flavor.
It's spreadable like, Texas Pete. That's a whole new level of Texas.
I want to.
Okay, we can't get on
Texas
spreadable text.
Yeah.
Spreadable.
Damn.
All right. So let's so our bigger topic for the night. We are getting close to June, which marks around the time that you're going to start to see those big reveals, those big drops for the rest of the year and beyond from all the major.
I would like to state that it's also the most important month because it is both mine and Derek's birthday back to back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. Really, that's a good point. Really,
that.
so
That's more important than
that's slightly more important
video
than this.
games.
But since this is a video game podcast,
it's gonna be Gay Wrath Month this year, motherfuckers.
Absolutely. I'm here for it. I'm all for it. So we're going to talk about what we think is coming in the second half of the year, what we'd like to see, what we hope to see, and what we don't think we're going to see.
Well, let's talk about some recent announcements about things we are
Yes.
definitely not seeing anymore because
Nobody's going to the stars this year.
Yeah, Microsoft and Bethesda announced that Starfield and Redfall, right? That's the name, right?
Redfall
Have both been pushed into 2023. Which
Dead Space is coming out January 27th.
and Dead Space
sooner than I thought it would.
Got a 2023
we
date.
got an actual date for Dead Space today, and they said it was going to be 2023 a couple weeks back, but I wasn't expecting January, so I'm totally fine with that.
If that date sticks. So which I'm not 100% confident it will. But anybody who didn't see the delay for Starfield coming wasn't paying attention. Like that game was supposed to come out this end of
November
fall.
11th.
Was it
November,
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
wow.
we haven't seen jack shit of it. So
I just assume those games are never coming out until suddenly they are.
It was dated 11/11/22, very early.
I've heard a few people talk about like, oh, we haven't seen anything, and it comes out in November. It's just like, we didn't see anything of Elden Ring until the beta test, like 2 months before the game came out.
Yeah,
I get like how I get in general, most people, it's kind of like a bad, like I get why people feel like it's a bad sign if you don't see a game close to release. Like I honestly like the the Starfield delay, like if I had to place money, right, like, oh, will it get delayed or not, I probably would have said no. But like I'm not surprised that it was. You know what I mean? Because like they've been working on this game for over 5 years. And granted, the pandemic is a thing, and this is like a Bethesda RPG we're talking about. I've just heard some really crazy takes from people today, like saying like, "Oh, this is the sign that Xbox is not managing these studios well." And I'm just like, "Homie, they just finished this acquisition deal a year ago.
We're also living in the middle of a fucking pandemic, dude.
What does Microsoft have to do with anything Bethesda's doing?
Like, y'all are really this surprised that like these games got delayed? Like,
also letting a game get delayed, I think, is better management than trying to hit, oh, we got that cool 11/11/22 date, we gotta make
exactly.
it. Well, I mean, look, and look, I think a lot of people agree. Everybody I've talked to seems to agree that Halo Infinite could have used more time in the oven, and it didn't get it. So not that it's a bad game by any means, but it definitely didn't launch in the state that most people had assumed or even hoped it would.
Halo Infinite's issue is different. It's more that it launched good, but the post-launch support has not been at the rate people expected, which I think is a totally different.
Yeah, y'all remember when a game had its multiplayer and like that's what you had for 3-4 years and it was good? Anyway,
so if we're talking about stuff that we think is going to come second half of this year, I mean, since we're already on the topic of Microsoft, I don't know now that Starfield, like aside from Forza, I don't know what else to expect from Microsoft this year. We're not getting, obviously Halo's already out, so it's not like we're getting a brand big new, Halo game. I don't see anything happening with Gears of War at this point this year.
No. I think the coalition's already said that they're working on a new game that isn't Gears of War.
Okay, so that's not happening. And look, like I do not expect that Forza is going to be the big holiday game that marches Xbox through the holidays. So I'll throw out a wild prediction here. For June, the traditional E3 time. I don't think it'll come out this year, obviously, but I think that this is the year that we got our first look at Fable.
Fucking hope so. I
Maybe.
love Fable. I love Fable.
I think it's time. I don't think we're gonna be playing it this year, but I think we're gonna see it. We're gonna see it.
I don't think so. I don't think
Really interesting. So
I love
With
Fable 2. Like when Fable 2 came out, it was definitely like one of my favorite games. Like, and I don't know if it's like in my top 50 now. Like it's it has aged a bit, but it's still like a very good game. And I love Fable, but like, and I'm excited that there's like an attempt, like there's gonna be this attempt to bring it back because Fable, like after Halo, was probably like my favorite franchise. But I feel like the thing is with Playground right now is that I just don't know really where that studio is at size wise, because this is the first time that we're seeing them work on more than one project, and this this new project's going to be a big RPG that like, and they're also doing the Forza Horizon game. It's just like I don't know if how that's going to affect the speed of Fable's development. I don't think we're going to see anything from that game until next year at the earliest.
So then what does Microsoft, so like conceivably from a realistic standpoint, what does Microsoft have to announce that could come out this year?
Well, I mean, if when the Activision Blizzard acquisition goes through, Modern Warfare 2 is coming out this fall, and that will be a game coming from a Microsoft studio that's going to be absolutely massive.
But that's going to be on all platforms though, right?
Right, but I'm just saying that's also could be another reason they might have delayed, stuff so they're not, competing Call of Duty and Starfield right against each other too.
It's just I feel like Xbox is in a precarious position this holiday season because again, like if you're only big, and I'm not talking the same things like Call of Duty, if your only big first party game coming out is Forza Horizon.
I mean, it'll be okay. Like so Microsoft's whole strategy is around Game Pass, and Game Pass succeeds based on more than just first-party releases.
No, that's a good point.
And like, if they have a light year, then whatever, because next year is just going to be loaded. And that's the thing. It's not like Starfield and Redfall got canceled; they're just pushed into next year, potentially with a ton of other huge, along with like Hellblade and God knows what else from Microsoft. So
yeah, and like it's worth mentioning, Deathloop will be coming to Game Pass in October.
I still need to play. I still need to play that. I've
been waiting for it to hit Game Pass.
That's why I wait like that. Like I didn't play. Like I was like I want to play Deathloop, but I'm gonna wait for it to hit Game Pass because I know it's gonna come to Game Pass. So I just wait. I'm just gonna wait. But I also think like if you think about next year. I don't know. I get that people like want exclusives, but like y'all, there's so many games to play.
Oh yeah.
And there's just and Game Pass is already great in and of itself. That like, sure, we don't have anything this year, but like next year, like Starfield, Redfall, I think Hellblade 2 is coming out next year.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that was slated.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe Fable.
What's that other game? Awoken?
Avowed.
Avowed. That's what it is.
Oh yeah,
Awoken is for PlayStation, buddy.
Look,
Avowed.
I'm a fake gamer, okay.
I know that. What's that game that Rare's working on?
Oh, that sounds like it's a ways off. That's been like 3 times.
It's a ways off. They basically restarted development on that game.
Everwild. That's right. That's it.
Yeah, Everwild. So yeah, it's one of those things like Starfield, Redfall, and Hellblade 2 sounds like a good year to me with those 3 alone.
I'm so excited for Hellblade 2. The first one was...
The thing about Microsoft's current situation, like a lot of people are making a big deal about, right now they're pretty light on release dates and stuff for stuff, which is true, but like once it gets going with all the new studios that they've acquired and stuff, they're going to have a lot of games coming out at a regular pace all the time. It's just they picked up a bunch of studios that were very early in development on stuff.
So here's
and they're also giving them the time to staff up. They're giving them the time to prototype stuff. They're giving them the time to work on these games so that they're actually, in good shape when they release. So I get why people are frustrated and kind of impatient, but like I'm not going to make any sweeping declarations about what this means for Xbox because
No.
It's clear what their long-term strategy is, and I'm curious to see how it pays off once that starts getting going.
Here's one for you, and I'm throwing this out under the Microsoft umbrella simply because I think it'll be presented there. I think in June you're gonna get your first look at the next Mortal Kombat game, and I think it's going to be on Microsoft stage. And I don't think it's coming out this year, but I think you're going to see it.
Hasn't Mortal Kombat traditionally been getting shown off at PlayStation events? The last like several Mortal Kombat games, I'm pretty sure were at PlayStation events.
Are they PlayStation events? Are we sure about that? Maybe I'm wrong, but
no, actually, hang on. It was like the Game Awards.
Yeah,
maybe.
It's been like Game Awards and stuff.
Yeah.
I know PlayStation has been showing off a lot of Street Fighter stuff.
So
I don't know about Mortal Kombat.
Hey, speaking of Street Fighter, I'm gonna throw down something hot right here.
Okay.
I think Street Fighter 5 might be hitting before the end of the year.
You mean 6?
6. Fuck. Yeah.
No,
that's what I mean.
I don't. No, that's a March game
so,
for
man.
sure.
I don't know. I don't know.
Capcom said they have several games releasing.
Street Fighter 6. That's one thing.
right?
Capcom said they have like multiple unannounced SKUs that still have to hit, which is probably not as many games as people
Battle
think.
Network Collection.
I would fucking love it.
Please.
But like, here's the thing. We know that there's only a couple of big Capcom games that were even intended to be out this year, according to their original roadmap. Dragon's Dogma 2, Street Fighter 6, and Resident Evil 4. I'll tell you right now, Dragon's Dogma 2 is the game most likely to have been hit hard during COVID development. Maybe we see Resident Evil 4 late this year. It's possible. That could be a good October, November game.
Quick shout out to Cam. Battle Network 3 is literally sitting in my analog pocket right now. Nice. And two, when you're talking about Capcom this year, I think they're not gonna overload this fall with like, for example, you're not gonna see Resident Evil 4 and Street Fighter 6 released within 6 months of each other.
You fucking could, because you serve such completely different audiences. Everybody in mainstream gaming wants a chunk of Resident Evil. Street Fighter does not serve people like you. Street Fighter doesn't serve people like 90% of our audience and our panel. Street Fighter
serves Maximilian and all his viewers.
Right, Street Fighter is for the FGC. Street Fighter is for, and people like me who used to do fighting games and just dip our toes back in to see how things are going every so often. But like, it's not like releasing Final Fantasy 16 and Forspoken within 3 months of each other. They're very different audiences.
You know, we're talking about big releases from Capcom like Resident Evil and Street Fighter. Here's what I want from Capcom. I'm already getting one thing I want, which is that Fighters collection with the Darksiders games and Street Fighter Puzzle or 2 Puzzle, Puzzle Fighter.
Puzzle Fighter.
Yeah, Puzzle Fighter is fucking awesome. I'll pick up the collection just for that. But what I want to see is a Breath of Fire collection.
Never happening.
I know, and we know it exists. I want that motherfucking Power Stone collection. I want that shit in my Switch as soon as possible. We know from that Nvidia leak that there is a Power Stone collection fucking coming.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do. It's on
There's
there.
nothing in the Nvidia leak about.
No, I'm sorry, not the Nvidia.
It was in the Capcom leak.
It was in the Capcom leak, the big Capcom leak. That's where it was.
Yeah.
But we know that motherfucker's coming. I want it. But I think the most likely culprit for Capcom this year around Halloween time is probably Resident Evil 4 remake. We'll see. That's what.
At least the trailer.
I don't think they're going to want to put that in front of or anywhere near Dead, because I don't see them trying to compete with Dead Space remake for that. Not that Dead Space remake is going to.
That's not a competition, man. I hate to say it, but
at the same time,
I love Dead Space.
Yeah.
But I think you're sort of underestimating how popular Dead Space was.
I'm not underestimating. I'm just recognize that Resident Evil 4, Dead Space is popular because it's Resident Evil 4 in space. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean that's true.
Here's a hotter question.
All right,
do y'all think? Because here's the thing: like, Starfield has been delayed. Breath of the Wild 2 has been delayed out of this year.
God of War's coming out this year.
Do you think? I was gonna say, do you think God of War keeps in this year? Or do you think it's canceled?
I think it's coming out this year.
Or not canceled, delayed.
I think it does, just because it was. They initially said it was going to be last year, and then it got delayed. Whereas the other two were supposed to be this year and got delayed.
True. That's fair. Yeah.
And It also, at this point, like, it's May and we haven't seen that game again in a while.
need a big ass game in the back half of the year,
Like,
and there's a couple of those.
16.
So
I
mean, I think Cam is right. Like I'll call it now. I think Final Fantasy 16 comes out this year. I think it comes out
if
the
it
very
does,
end of the year.
Like,
I'm going to be
crush
heartbroken for
Forspoken,
Forspoken because I have hope for Forspoken, and that game is absolutely going to be sent to die if it releases within 3 months of 16.
When does Forspoken come out?
That's October, dude. There's no point where Final Fantasy 16 could come out where it would not be within 3 months of that game.
I think if it comes out in December, which would be my prediction, I think Forspoken is fine. Like,
no,
I don't think Final Fantasy 16 will come out in December.
When do you think it'll come out, Cam?
I think, part of me is like, I don't think Square really cares if that's
a solid point.
If Final Fantasy 16 comes out like in September, and then like Forspoken comes out in October, because one, they're both going to be PS5 exclusives, so that's already going to like attract people in general. It's like, oh, this is exclusive to the PS5. Well, I'm gonna for PS5 people, they're gonna be like, all right, I want to check this out because there's not that many PS5 exclusives in the almost third year of the console. So I mean, like all of us, right? If both those games came out, we would still get them both like straight away. Like, I mean, granted, we're JRPG nerds and shit like that, but like,
yeah,
I still think that it's not a big deal. And also like Forspoken does, even though it is developed by Luminous, like it does give a lot of Western energy from its gameplay and like the kind of like structure that game has. Like Gary Whitta is writing part of it, right? Like I think that there will be people that it'll be both like that will be interested in both games, but then there will be people that are specifically interested in Final Fantasy and are specifically interested in Forspoken, and that's okay. I do think what was the game speaking of back to Resident Evil 4 though, I think that game will come out in spring next year. I don't think Capcom really likes releasing games in the fall. They're like just of past years, right? 2, 3, and 7 and 8 all came out in spring.
Fuck, Monster Hunter World was a spring game too, wasn't it?
8 was
January.
January.
Oh wait, no.
World 8 was in January, so it was.
8 was in January. So it's it's still like early in the year. You know what I mean? Like I think that they like getting that out in the earlier parts of the year. So like just historically,
Monster Hunter World and Rise were also like first chunk of the year, like first quarter games.
And even Sunbreak, right? Sunbreak's coming out in June.
I mean, and that's actually like weirdly late for Capcom stuff, but yeah, that's.
I think they like to release their kind of smaller stuff in the fall. So, I'm trying to think about what else. But I do think Final Fantasy 16 is coming out this year, and I think agree. If anything, they'll push back Forspoken into the spring to make room for Final Fantasy. I can
see that. Yep,
I can see that.
I can see for sure.
I mean, like, I'm not worried about Final Fantasy. Like, I know that Final Fantasy 15's development is an anomaly, in my opinion. Like,
yes,
it was like there were some obvious problems, but like that was very much an anomaly. And I think that 16 is. I'm not worried about the development of 16. I
think 15 and 7 remake both had some issues that I think.
I mean, 15 was a whole different can of worms.
That's a uniquely, but it's a completely different creative team. It's a completely different development team.
Well, Yoshi P is known for being efficient as fuck. So, he's not gonna and it does not surprise me that we've waited this long to hear anything about it because he likes to hold shit close to the vest until it's basically done. So
they said that trailer should be. Oh, you go
soon.
Brett.
Oh, I was gonna say, Cam, when do you think Kingdom Hearts 4 is coming?
Looking forward to playing.
That's why I'm asking you.
Here's the thing with Kingdom Hearts 4, actually.
Why would you hurt him like this?
I actually haven't gotten to go on a podcast outside of my own to talk about this. So like, with Kingdom Hearts 4,
go ahead.
So with Kingdom Hearts 4, I think that realistically, I could see the game because like historically a lot of those games came out like not too far off from each other, right?
Initially,
And
yes.
like the biggest before Kingdom Hearts 3, and like again, similar to 15, I feel like is an anomaly of its development issues, was 4 years, and that was between Kingdom Hearts 2 and 358. But like the like one, Chain of Memories, and 2, they all came out a year from each other, which is insane to think about. So when you think about that, yeah. They came out a year from each other.
Yeah.
So do you think here's a fun one. Do you think Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 or Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out
Kingdom Hearts
first?
4 is coming out first.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
Probably.
Nomura cares more about that one, so that one's coming out.
Well, because Nomura's not the director anymore for Remake Part 2. If he was
Is he not?
both those
Oh,
games,
okay.
No, he's not.
No. He's just executive producer. So with that in mind, now that they got the Unreal Engine down, you know, everyone has been saying that moving from Unreal 4 to 5 is like very easy. I think that I could realistically see this game come out early 2024. I could see that happening. It really just kind of depends on, because they've been working on I think Nomura said they've been working on the game for almost 2 years at this point.
It's
like
been
basically
a bit, yeah.
Right when they finished Remind, they started Kingdom Hearts 4. So I think, you know, it's been in the works for a while. And I don't think we're gonna have another Kingdom Hearts 3 situation. I think that was a very much a like its own thing. So I hope you know, because historically I believe like a lot of Kingdom Hearts games come out like at the very like December to like springtime, like somewhere in between there. So I think it'll be 2024. And honestly, at the end of the day, with Kingdom Hearts, it's up to Disney. If Disney like, hey, this is what happened with Kingdom Hearts 3, right? They were like, hey, you need to get this game out by this time or we're gonna have a problem. And that's how we got Kingdom Hearts 3 and Remind. So but like I don't think Kingdom Hearts 4 is gonna be that kind of problem. So I think at the earliest 2024, early 2024, it could be fall. I really hope it's not as long anymore. It feels like it's come along pretty nicely already. I know that we didn't see a whole lot, but
the fact that there's a trailer and like with different scenes, that's just not like one thing, like gives me a little bit more hope, you know?
Yeah, and I really hope they kind of just, because it sounds like that's the case, at least for the rest of this year, that Nomura and the team just work on the game. Like I don't need to know all the worlds that are going to be in the game before the game comes out. I don't need to know that stuff. Like, you know, I could get like 1, maybe 2 trailers before the game comes out, and then good. Because like we're at this place now where we really don't know like exactly what's gonna happen in this game, and that's like kind of like my main issue with Kingdom Hearts 4 right now is like the trailer didn't show us a lot, and a lot of the assumptions that I got out of that trailer are not things that I'm particularly excited about. We don't need to go through all the Kingdom Hearts lore, but like or like I'm kind of worried about, or you know, with the story. But regardless, I'm excited. I'm always going to be excited for Kingdom Hearts 4. But I think 2024 is probably the earliest we're going to see that.
So here's
the thing about that trailer though is like they said the trailer was made in Unreal Engine 4, but the game is going to be Unreal Engine 5, which that makes me think it might be a bit farther out. Although that is a fairly easy migration, so it might have just been to get a trailer out in time. They hadn't updated or whatever.
So I've got some smaller Square Enix predictions before we jump into something like Nintendo here. I'll rattle through these pretty quick because I think they're pretty cut and dry. In June, I think you're going to get, I think these will both be at whatever Nintendo is doing for their Spotlight or Direct, whatever they're going to call it. I think you're going to see the Pixel remasters announced, and I think you're going to see Tactics remastered announced. And I think one is going to come out in August, one's going to come out in September. I couldn't tell you which one. I think that... Go ahead, Cam.
I was going to say, I could see the Pixel remaster being like, and it's out now.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, no, I could. No, you're right about that. I could see that.
I want both those things to have physical releases.
I don't think they're going to get.
I know, but
yeah, they're not going to. Yeah, but I think I think that could absolutely happen. Like, and it's launching later today. I think that Valkyrie Elysium is going to get delayed into 2023 because it looks really rough. What I think is going to come out instead is a port of Valkyrie Profile. Because Valkyrie Profile, right? Well, Valkyrie Profile has been suddenly trademarked in Japan and the US and Canada and Australia. Valkyrie Profile Lenneth specifically. So like the writing's on the wall for that one. You're probably almost certainly getting a port of that.
Do you think we're gonna get I lost my train of thought. Keep going. It'll come back to me.
Well, and the only other thing I was going to say is I also think that I don't think it comes out this year because it'll be too close to Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster, but sometime this year you're going to hear about that Tactics Ogre Remaster. Since we know that exists, it was on the NVIDIA leak and they recently trademarked Tactics Ogre Rebirth. So Tactics Ogre something is coming. But the ones that I'm sure about are the Pixel remasters and Tactics Remastered. I am 100% confident you'll see those this year. Everything else is just me guessing. But Cam, if you can remember what you were going to say, go ahead and jump in. Valkyrie Profile Lenneth was a PSP game, yes, but I think they're going to bring the mobile version over because it's one of those mobile games. It's really gorgeous with a lot of redone artwork.
I remember now.
Go ahead, Cam.
And this is wishful thinking, but it's wishful thinking that still doesn't make fucking sense to me. But do you think we're gonna finally get the mobile ports of Dragon Quest 4 through 6?
No, because there's no love in the world.
Yeah,
because y'all did 1 through 3.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense not to bring them over.
Yeah, y'all did 1 through 3, and then 4 through 6 has been on mobile for 9 years now.
Some of the best classic
JRPGs. Dragon Quest is also doing really well. Like it's selling well stateside.
Popular as ever in the West. It's just like, come on, dog. I don't want to
you just reminded me. Like, I wonder if we're going to see more of Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D in June.
I don't think we'll see that this year. No.
But Cam is onto something here. Like I've got them on DS, and I would fucking love to have them on my Switch because especially Dragon Quest 5 is one of the greatest JRPGs of all time. That game fucking rules.
It's excellent. Can I hit y'all with a non-Square Enix?
You can. Well, I was actually going to jump into Nintendo, but go ahead.
Yeah, this one's sort of, it's not Nintendo, but I don't think we're going to see Sonic Frontiers this year.
I agree.
I don't think
I would not be surprised.
I agree.
Yeah, we might see it. I don't think it's releasing this year.
Yeah, we'll see gameplay. I could see it releasing in the spring next year. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's coming this year.
Well, Derek, speaking, if you want to talk about mascots.
Oh, Bustin'.
Oh, Justin, go ahead.
So I have one thing I think might come out this year, and that is Naughty Dog's Last of Us multiplayer game. They have been working on that for a while.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that.
They were working on that for a while. And with it being a multiplayer title, it doesn't need the same kind of build up.
Do you think that's going to be packaged with The Last of Us 1 remake?
I can't believe it's real.
I think
as a value prop?
They might do that, or I don't know. It depends on what business model they decide to go for it. But I don't know. I think it'll be. I'm excited for that. The multiplayer for the first Last of Us was actually surprisingly good. And just considering how some of the people at Naughty Dog have been talking about this, it sounds like this is their first chance to do an actual big multiplayer game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a mix of co-op and competitive and stuff like that. I really want to see that. I think it could be really cool. And I think that's the sort of thing that could kind of maybe be a not have the same kind of build up as an actual new game from Naughty, full on new single player game from Naughty Dog.
So I've got one with a little bit of spice for you guys. Derek's talking about Sonic, and if we're going to talk about mascots, you got to talk about Mario. I think we are going to see a new 3D Mario from Nintendo in June. I think it's time. No, I don't think we're going to play it this year, but I think you're going to see it.
Still no.
It's time. Odyssey came out in 2017. It is time for. I don't think we've
busy, man.
Right, but it is time, or even like a new 2D Mario. But there's something.
I could see 2D. I'm not seeing 3D.
What?
That hurts.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, Odyssey is 5 years old. Brittany, what were you saying?
I was saying if I could see a 2D game because they haven't done one of those since 3D World.
Yeah, 2D or like I think there's gonna be.
But I don't
Like,
think
2D
there's
one I'm
another like
more on
Odyssey
board
Mario
on.
coming.
I mean,
Like, look how long
board.
it's taken him to do the fucking Zelda
Yeah.
expansion. Like,
well,
they're not
That's the other
touching
thing is the
Mario right
rumors,
now.
the hardcore rumors have been that team's working on Donkey Kong. So
Yeah,
like
that
a new,
has
like an actual legit,
Like
new
an
Donkey
actual
Kong
new
game?
Donkey
Yeah,
Kong.
like a
Yeah.
follow up to Tropical Freeze, or like it's like a 3D.
no, it's gonna be
version,
3D. They're gonna do a new 3D Donkey
Yeah,
Kong.
kind of like
yeah.
Kirby.
Yeah, it's a yeah.
And you know what? I mean, I'm all for it because Kirby and the Forgotten Land is the best Kirby game since.
Well, it's
it's
gonna
right
be
behind Robobot. So
inspired by Mario Odyssey, right? Because that structure would work very well for Donkey Kong. We do have to wash the taste of Donkey Kong 64 out of our mouth, finally. Bayonetta 3 is not coming this year. I'm going to say that.
I think it is coming. I think it like I've said this since like when it was announced. Like whatever year
It
it's coming,
should, but
coming
it's
in
not
December.
gonna because we
coming
don't. It's I don't know, man. It just feels like we are doomed to watch that game be delayed indefinitely.
Here's the thing: Bayonetta's doing what I want. It's kind of weird because like for some games I'm like, okay, yeah, show me more of this game as it comes along. But then like for Bayonetta 3, it's like I know what this is gonna be, right?
That's
so it's just
true.
like,
I don't
announce
need a
it.
trailer. You just need to put it in my
You
hands.
announce it, shut up for however many years you need to work on it.
Shut up, Britt.
and then reveal it again with a release or like a release window, and then announce the release date eventually, and then bring out the game. Like that is a game that I think works with like it being the third of like a Bayonetta. It's just like fun combos, like over the top action. That's cool. Like, but we know what that game is gonna be. So just like what they've been doing with the announcements for that game, I think it has been perfect for it. I think it's gonna come out in December, because the second one came out in December and it did really well for it being a Wii U game. And yeah, so here's another Nintendo prediction for you. I think this is the year we're not gonna play it, but we're gonna see a trailer finally for Metroid Prime 4.
No.
I think I don't even know. I don't know if it's gonna be gameplay.
Metroid is also cursed.
No,
but I think it's probably time.
I think we will too, because Dread was like for what Metroid, how big the size of Metroid, like that it is. It's like 2 million copies sold. Like it's a humble franchise for Nintendo. I think it'd be like, oh yeah, you like Dread? Well, here's Metroid Prime. And get people excited.
I think that. I think that remaster or remake of Prime, whatever they're doing, is going to come out in October.
I really want it to be a trilogy. I would.
I don't think it's. I think we pretty much confirmed it's not going to be the trilogy, right? Like it.
Everything we've heard is it's not a remaster of the trilogy. It's a straight remake of one.
And I would rather take a remastered trilogy than a remake of one of them. Personally.
Really?
Oh, 100%.
I mean, one is the best game, but I do think people need to revisit 2 and 3 as well.
Yeah.
Like it is a cohesive trilogy.
but Nintendo doesn't really have a good track record with porting old games and like making
it's
them
getting
good.
better, but
yeah, no, like Nintendo for the most part makes lazy remasters, but that's fine with me. I just want to play this game on modern systems. You know what I mean?
Like Derek said, this is from what we've heard, this is a remake, not a remaster, right?
I know. I'm just saying hypothetically,
okay,
if they did like a trilogy remaster, or like they just ported whatever the the Wii U Virtual Console, the Wii version or whatever to Switch, I'm okay with that. Like that's enough for me.
My only problem with making subpar like remasters, ports, is that there's a whole new generation that's playing this game and they're getting like an utter trash version of it.
Yeah.
So I would prefer to see like, a new game rather than just ports. But I get where you're coming from.
I think Prime 4 is exclusive to new hardware. I'm serious. I genuinely believe that at this point.
What the follow up to the Switch is?
Yeah, Switch 2, Switch whatever. I think that's yeah. That's genuine belief. I think at this point, it's been so slow in development. that I could genuinely see them going like, look, let's just make this big, ambitious fucking game that can be a headliner for a Switch successor. Like, so I don't think we see it for a while. But
if anything, they will be bringing the old games to their online service.
Yeah.
So
I just want more Metroid.
So here's what I think we can all probably fucking agree with for Nintendo. This fall, I think you're gonna get Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD packaged together.
I thought they said I thought they announced it next year.
They didn't. No, it's just been heavily rumored.
Oh, what do y'all think about the Oracle of Agents?
Inject it into my fucking veins.
If those games come back in some form, I will be so happy.
Justin, the rumor was that Grezzo is remaking those, right?
Yeah, I will lose my shit.
I never played those ones. So
they're so fucking good.
There were rumors about the first rumors were about Minish Cap. It was like Grezzo remaking Minish Cap.
Minish Cap's good.
Minish Cap was great too.
Doesn't need to be remade though.
Although, yeah, that's the thing though. Like Minish Cap has some of the best 2D art I have ever seen.
It's perfect the way it is. It's perfect the way it is.
Yeah, and then like they did, and then that changed to Ages and Seasons. I'm like notably not a big Zelda person. I've played Wind Waker, and all the other ones, and I've tried Breath of the Wild. Didn't really grab me. I know like a lot of people love it. But I want to love that game. I want to give it another shot before the second sequel comes out. But like all the other ones have spiders in them, except for the 2D ones. The 2D ones I still need to actually sit down and play.
No, the 2D ones have spiders in them.
Well, they've got
but it's not the same. It's not the same.
Yeah. They're pixel spiders. It's easier.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm excited. Like, I still need to play the Link's Awakening one. I want to play that. Like, I just want to get more into Zelda because I feel like it's just such a big like blemish on my gaming history. I haven't played any
God, the Oracle games are so fucking good.
They are.
So I played like most of them since Ocarina of Time, but I haven't really got a chance to play like the old ones or the ones on like GBA and stuff like that because I was a poor kid and couldn't. Yeah, so it'd be nice to.
I mean, I've mentioned this before, but like, especially if like Ages and Seasons come back in some form. I love the Zelda games, and I did not enjoy Breath of the Wild. So, like, it feels like at least if I can get releases that are more like classic Zelda in between kind of the Breath of the Wild style games, I'll be very, very happy with that.
I'm not being well served as a Zelda fan, but that's okay. Like, I get it. But
because it's like, I don't want to feel like, this franchise is now something I can no longer love as much as I once did. If I get a remake every now and then, I'll be happy.
I love 2D Zelda.
Cool, right? Like Link's Awakening.
Oh, dude,
Link's Awakening is one of my all-time favorite games.
I played the remake of Link's Awakening literally 3 times in a row, and I will do the same thing with the Oracle remakes if they're true.
Yeah, I want to get the I don't get all the amiibos, but I might get the Link's Awakening Zelda one, the Link one, because it's just cool. I like
it's great.
Myself, yeah. So
the look of it is great too. I love the look of that remake.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I want to this is a Capcom prediction, but I'm going to throw it under Nintendo because this is the system. Switch is absolutely the system I would get it on. How do you guys feel about Mega Man 12?
Feasible.
I'm sure. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's being worked on. I think that 11, like, it was good, but like, I just don't think it was what it needed to be.
What if it's a new series, a new sub-series, or Mega Man whatever?
What if it's a new Zero game or a new Mega Man X game?
Or what if it's something new that's unburdened by previous Mega Man, a dozen previous games? Like, I could see them doing that.
I want, again, like, I'm at a point with the Switch where the Switch is like my port system. I'm just like, port everything to Switch. So like all these like collections and games that I've never played before. So like, I want a Battle Network collection for Mega Man more than anything else Mega Man related. Like, we got the other 3 collections. I have them on my shelf over there. I have Mega Man 11, but now I want the Battle Network game.
You can leave Battle Network 4 out though. You can leave 4 out and then port the rest of those over.
I mean, because like the thing is, we're getting to the point where like the Wii U shop is starting to close up, and I'm like, I don't want to buy all these Battle Network games and then find out like 2 months later, oh, it's being ported to Switch, and I'm like, okay, well, I wasted like $50. Thanks.
Or fucking bring Mega Man Legends over. Although I'm pretty sure Mega Man Legends is going to be included in the new PS Plus on PlayStation 5.
That'd be nice.
I'm pretty sure that you're going to see both Mega Man Legends games in there. I guess like you could throw that into the predictions too, right? Because that is a thing that's coming out in June. It
launches in Asia in like 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, yeah, and we still don't know what games are going to be part of it.
Gonna be in it.
It's a great sign, folks.
Yeah,
great sign.
It's not a great sign. Derek is right. Like I'm like, man, you guys are not filling me with confidence if you're not willing to talk about this shit.
I mean, I said it before. I think it's going to be weak at launch, but will grow over time.
What do you do you think we're finally going to get Lost Soul Aside this year?
Do I think we're going to get what?
Lost Soul Aside. Remember that? It's like that.
I don't even remember that one.
Action game like Devil May Cry
kind
of stuff.
Oh yeah,
this is the one from that really small team in China, right?
Yes.
So originally it was one dude. Like when they did the one trailer, it was just him, and then it was the game that started the China Hero Project under PlayStation.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's been in the works for I want to say 6 years at this point. And in 2020, Yang Bing, who's the creator, the director, he said like we wanted to get it out this year, but then the pandemic happened. So I'm really hoping that this is finally the year, because we got that re-reveal of the game last year where they remodeled the main character, and this is all stuff that they said they were going to do. And they showed like almost 20 minutes of gameplay. And we found out that the dude who did the music for Devil May Cry 5 is doing the music for this game. So like it's really starting to shape up to be something really, really cool. But like, I just wanted out, and I feel like we're at a point in the year now where I'm kind of worried that it won't. And I really hope it does, because like that's my before Kingdom Hearts 4 got announced and after Kingdom Hearts 3 got released, like that has been my most anticipated game. Like I want that more than anything. So yeah, I hope it comes out this year, but we'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
Can I give you guys my random white whale?
Please.
What the fuck happened to Project Awakening from Cygames?
I
don't know if y'all even remember that trailer.
Which is the thing that looked like Dragon's Dogma, right?
Very Dragon's Dogma or Monster Hunter-esque.
Yeah, okay, yes. Now that you mention it, yes.
Like way ahead of its time graphically, which is how you knew it was like, this is not coming out in a long time.
Like,
guys, I'm telling you.
This is actual in-game footage, and I'm just like, yeah, that's not a PS4 game.
Derek, this is the year. Derek, this is the year we're getting Agent. It's finally happening. Like Agent is coming.
What about that one game that Capcom's making that like they showed at the PS5 showcase?
Pragmata.
Deep
Pragmata.
down.
That's 2023.
That
got bumped out of this year.
So I've got one more. This isn't a prediction, but it's my last one. It's more of a hope. She Dreams Elsewhere.
Oh,
I think that's it in this year.
That's another game that I'm just like that and Lost Soul Aside are just right there with each other. I'm so excited.
She Dreams Elsewhere has continually impressed me every time I've played it on the show floor at PAX, which seems like an eternity ago now. And if you don't know what it is, it's a game made by Davion Gooden. And it is essentially, it's very heavily steeped in Earthbound. The entire cast of characters are all people of color, and it's set in the protagonist's mind as she's in a coma. And this game's visuals are just fucking so cool and so immersive. I could not be more excited for this. And obviously I want Davion to take his time, but at the same time I really want to play this. So yeah, She Dreams Elsewhere. I really hope that drops.
Day one Game Pass. It's day one Game Pass.
Yeah. What about Silk Song? Do you guys think Silk Song is going to come this year?
That's not coming this year.
Silk Song was mentioned in the Steam database for February 2028, and that seems like
that seems realistic
date at this point.
Here's the thing with Silk Song that I think I was on a podcast with Brendan Groom from Pass the Controller yesterday, and he mentioned that like I feel that like Silk Song is probably at a level where like if we saw Silk Song, it would be in an in a direct, not an indie world.
Yes, for sure.
Even though it is an indie, you know.
I agree.
So
it's big enough to
So I think that
and I don't think they show it until it's like coming out very soon.
Yeah, and see that I kind of feel the same way. I feel like that and Sports Story are both kind of like, and it's out now type situations.
Sports Story for sure. Yeah.
And I feel like in Sports Story, I think it's kind of on that same love. Like, I mean, Silksong is obviously a bigger game, but like I think that Sports Story just has such a heavy tie with the Nintendo Switch with Golf Story that those are games I would like expect us to see at whatever Nintendo's Summer Direct presentation is going to be. And if it's not there, then like I probably don't expect it to come out this year.
I would love if Sports Story came out this year because I loved Golf Story. And I count Mario Golf Advance among one of my favorite sports titles of all time. So yeah, give me Sports Story. Derek, before we wrap up here, did you want to mention what's going down on this channel on Saturday?
Yeah, so Saturday we are doing a big long fundraising stream for the Kentucky Health Justice Network, which is it provides mutual aid in the form of both an abortion fund as well as trans healthcare support in one of the poorest states in the United States. We will be doing, starting at noon Eastern on Saturday, me and John are going to do a several-hour long Awful Games block.
And you've got some shit.
Oh, I've got some garbage together.
Do you want to guess? Do you want me to hop on with you?
I would love for you to be a
yes.
part of
Yes.
at some point or this another, because here's the thing. After the bad games, we're going to do some Mario Party. And then after the Mario Party,
I'm gonna fucking play Mario Party with you, but
we're gonna do
everything else.
Some SDGC Mario Party.
No, I learned my lesson.
After a couple hours of Mario Party, we're gonna go and we're gonna basically play various Jackbox games until we just cannot anymore. And we're gonna need all kinds of friends in the community, through the industry, etc.
Got a few industry friends lined up. Cam, you are more than welcome to be one of them.
Yeah, I mean, what date is this again?
Saturday.
This Saturday?
Yeah. Saturday in the evening. If you're free, pop in for a game or two of Jackbox. That's it. Keep it light.
I mean, like in general, like Mario Party's cool too. Yeah, I'll obviously get back to you about it.
We'll be hitting people up for sure.
Britt, you are more than welcome to jump into the Awful Game stream with
Our
Derek
goal,
and I.
I'm gonna throw the actual work in progress layout up. Obviously, I'm going to have like a game capture up here, and I'm going to have like a camera up here. But we're hoping to raise $1,000. If we raise more than that, that'd be excellent. Donate to us, and we're going to take all those donations at big lump sum and make one giant check to the Kentucky Health Justice Network.
Yep.
So, and
we'll make sure we'll have all the receipts.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we do enough charity work.
Derek is way too excited about the Awful Game stuff. I'm worried about.
Oh
what
yeah,
he's got
Justin actually and Dio got sneak peeks at something that's coming. And,
they did.
They did.
I'm excited. Again, I'm so bummed. Like 6 of my coworkers have COVID, so I pretty much have to work almost this whole time.
I'm sorry.
We're going to be doing the fundraising stream, but please, it means a lot to all of us. This is these are causes that we all really do care a lot about and have wanted to do something about for a while. So please come by and support us, and even just hang out in chat and signal
if
boosting, even if you can't afford to contribute, because I know that's happened to me sometimes before. But
if you can't donate, boosting the stream on social media is a big deal, and being part of the chat is a big deal because you raise the visibility of that stream and you help the algorithm pick up this charity stream. So like, just show up on Saturday. Do what you can. Life's hard. Shit sucks. Ain't none of us got money, but we're gonna try to do it. To help poor trans folk and poor people with uteruses in this incredibly broke ass state. So, yeah, that's what's going on Saturday.
It's going to be a good time. We're going to have a lot of fun.
I'm gonna ruin John.
I'm so concerned.
I am genuinely looking forward to your wails of pain.
Oh no, and Derek, I played Fast and Furious Crossroads, man. It can't get worse than that.
It can.
Balan Wonderworld?
It can. I'm not saying anything about what I got coming. I'm going to tell you. I told John I have spent more on canned drinks than I've spent on some of these games. So
oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It means it's a good time.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, speaking of time, we are past our time. So Cam, thank you so much for joining us again, bud.
Yeah,
we
bud.
deeply appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun. I
Absolutely.
loved hearing you talk about Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, absolutely. My fee is John, you got to give Trails in the Sky another shot, because how does that not click for you? That game is so good. Anyway,
I picked up the first one.
Oh, you
I picked
did?
up the first Trails in the Sky.
In the
Yeah,
Sky,
yeah.
on
So
Steam?
I got it on sale, and it's in the JRPG backlog. But I bought it, so it's there. So I have to get to it eventually.
Oh yeah. It's
Cam, there's
again,
just so many games to play.
It should be in the pantheon of JRPGs, like as a franchise. It really should.
Yeah, you convinced me, man. Like I'm here. I'm gonna try it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get around to it.
I
for
spent
sure.
money, so I have to be committed.
I am gonna get around to it.
it legitimately has like some of the best probably the best world building in any video game franchise I've ever played. Like, it is incredibly well written, and the lore is so good. Like, I don't know. Like, highly recommend.
All right. Well, time for us to sign off for the night here. Don't forget that we will be here streaming for abortion funds and for what was the other
trans healthcare?
Yeah, trans healthcare. Yeah, I didn't know. I knew what it was. I didn't know how to enunciate it.
You're sick. You're tired. It's late. You've been on a long time. It's fine.
I am. I trust me. I've been. The last 30 minutes has been a struggle. I'm going to bed as soon as we're done here. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. As you can see there in chat, we've got a Patreon. We've got merch that goes to the money goes to all sorts of good causes. We've got a Discord we're closing in on 400 people in our Discord, which is wild. So hop on in there if you're not already there. Yep, I'm sick as hell and I am going to bed. We'll see you on Saturday, everyone. And remember, kindness costs nothing. Take it easy.